Nice. Oh, look. Here's a table I prepared earlier.
David, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Jay, nice to see you.
Yeah, I know, Jay. Yes. Good to see you, Jay. I want to know, why are we not allowed to talk about politics? What are we scared of?
Have you been to America recently?
I've been following the news.
How you loving Salt Lake City? How you loving Utah? How you loving FanX?
It's very jolly.
Have you had a chance to try fry sauce?
So who was you?
Have you had a chance to try fry sauce? We call it chips,
like French fries, chips?
Yeah,
or?
Fry sauce. We take some mayonnaise and some ketchup and we put it together and we call that fry
and that's
sauce.
Meant to be like, that's your thing here? Come on, guys, you can do better than that. We mixed mayonnaise and ketchup. That's it.
Well, this is the place. So that was for y'all. That was for y'all. Get it? Yeah. What's up? And we have green Jello.
I think we have green Jello elsewhere too.
No, but you don't have it like we have it here.
Is it really good? Does it have mayonnaise in it? It sounds delicious.
Well, what do you love to eat?
What do I love to eat? Oh, not sushi. I quite like. I like a variety of things.
All right, there you go. Wait. So this is your second day here.
This is my second day here.
Now,
I'm practically a native.
I saw. Yeah, practically a native. Yeah. You should. All right. On the third day we have fry sauce. Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Now I saw last night that someone proposed during the middle of your photo op.
We've had two this weekend.
Oh, two.
Yeah. Are any of the happy couples here? Any members of the happy couples?
Anybody putting a ring on it today? This is the day. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
If anyone, we could do a ceremony right now if anyone wants to take it to another level.
That's right. Ordained. I did
Are
it on
you
the
married,
online college.
Jay? Are you married yet, Jay?
Long time ago.
Me too.
Yeah.
So we're out. But if anyone else wants to get married right now,
I mean, we
could officiate.
Yeah, I may put a thing on it and then eventually put a ring on it. That's what I may do.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Like, everybody is just so psyched. Where all my Whovians at? Where all my Whovians? Now, you are an incredible actor, and let me just start off by saying that. And your body of work is, and your body is,
and my thanks.
Thanks. Is impeccable. What are you doing, Pilates?
Yeah.
No, your body of work is impeccable. We've seen you do so many roles. You've been in almost every geek universe you can think of at this point. I would like to see you in the DC universe, personally.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think personally, no disrespect to Jared Leto, Joaquin Phoenix, Heath Ledger, but I think you would make a fantastic Joker, personally. I'm just saying, your ability to emote immediately and then switch it up so many times, I think you would just be wonderful. So, DC, if you're listening, if you're watching, cut my man a check.
Does this go straight to the DC offices, this feed?
Yeah, that's how, yeah.
If that's what it works.
Yeah,
that's how it works,
what
right?
we do. But what's next for you in your career?
Well, I've got a bunch of things that are all about to come out, sort of all at once. So,
you got a mixtape?
I'd like that. But probably the thing that I'm doing, I've got a comedy coming on HBO soon, which you'll see very soon. Next month, that comes out. And then, that's called Camping. And then I've got a show coming on the BBC, but you won't see that here. Not legally, anyway. And then in the new year, I've also got a thing which might appeal to members of this audience, a Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett novel.
Woo!
Yes. Called Good Omens, and that's coming to your Amazon Prime Video. Because Amazon as a company, they need a bit of help.
Yeah, just a little bit. $1 trillion.
Yeah, we're throwing them a bone there. We're doing that show for them.
I just love that every time you say something, we get like, what? You could pretty much say anything, like, it's sunny outside.
Yeah. Sushi! Oh, shut up! Fry sauce.
That was for y'all. That was for y'all.
Sounds like a made-up thing to me.
Oh,
Might as well say, yeah, we put marmalade and honey together. That's our thing here.
Now, I just want to tell you personally, on behalf of my friend Jessica, that she can't go anywhere in her neighborhood because of you sometimes.
Jessica! Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good name to shout, turns out.
Well, I mean, I loved you and Jessica Jones. I mean, like, did you ever think that we'd see, like, Killgrave and the Purple Man? Well, we never really say the character in the show, but I mean, like, when you started that role, how did you approach it?
I said, are you going to paint me purple? I didn't know that wasn't on the cards initially. Like with anything, you just, you know, you can, any amount of researching of the comic books, which is something I'm very happy to do, believe me, as a Marvel comic book reader from the time I was tiny. It's very exciting to be in that world at all. But actually, it's got to come down to the script. And Melissa Rosenberg and her team who write that show, yes, are, it's a fantastic bunch of writers, and they create the character. You just turn up and sort of, you know.
Did you get to keep the suits?
Not a single one.
Are you serious?
I know.
Because we're the same height. I was like, can you just let a brother hold one? I'm just saying.
And they gave me a different suit for every scene I was in. I mean, it was ludicrous. We must have brought every Paul Smith suit in New York that was vaguely purple.
I'm going to write that down, Paul Smith.
And I didn't get to keep any of them. Marvel like to keep things tight, close, lock things away in cupboards.
Are you planning on coming back?
I don't want to give spoilers, but
I mean, I figure I can ask.
But for anyone who got to the end of the series, I'm not in a great state.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's always some flashbacks, you know.
Flashbacks, sure. Well, who knows? There's no immediate plans.
Yeah, you know. I think you know
but
how
then
time.
If there were immediate plans, I'd be denying them. So you know, who knows?
Right. Well, I think you're well familiar with time and how that works.
It's relative.
Yeah.
It's wibbly wobbly. Something.
I'm getting there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I could bring up the easy one, Doctor Who.
Sure.
10th Doctor.
Sure.
Best Doctor. My Doctor.
Oh.
My Doctor. And Whittaker's my last name. I just want you to know that.
Oh, well.
But you're still my doctor.
Thank you.
I just call her my cousin.
Sure.
Now, like, moving in the direction of going forward in the series, like, what do you expect? Do you think we might see just any Doctor of diversity seems to be very important right now. Do you think that will happen on the show as more? We might see a different type of Doctor.
I think with a character like that, who can literally be anything.
Right.
So I think there was a kind of slightly weird thing when Jodie's name was announced, when people kind of, certain people went, that can't be right, but it's sort of people's brains malfunctioned, and then I think everyone sort of breathed and went, oh, hang on, the Doctor can be anything and anyone.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
And
do you hear that, young man? Do you hear that, young lady? You could be anything.
And I think any sense that Jodie is an unusual piece of casting will be, if anyone's still hanging on to that will be banished by the time you see her take to the screen, because even that little bit we saw at the end of the last episode, she just owned it in seconds. So it's very, very exciting for the show, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. What well, during your time, because it was 10 years ago. Wow, time flies by.
I know.
But I mean, like,
long time ago. I was young once.
I think you're you're timeless.
Time is relative. We've established that.
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure you know. What were some of your favorite moments just on set and just?
Oh, it's weird to pick out moments because it was just it was a very intense time. It was a very, it's sort of all you do when you do that show because I went down to Cardiff, which for anyone who doesn't know is about 3 hours from London. So I was away from home all week, and it's a very intense schedule. And when you're not shooting, you're learning lines for the next day. It's one of those shows that you don't really do anything else. I've got a young family now. I can't imagine having a young family and doing that show because it was just all consuming. But that means it was a time of life that was unlike any other, and it was a wonderful time and a heady time and a bonkers time, and a very, very exciting. But it means it's full of very happy and very vivid memories, and it's a time I look back on very fondly, but it also feels like a different life. You know, it was such an intense time, and you kind of come away from it and you think, what just happened there?
I think it worked out pretty well for you.
It was all right.
Doing
was all right.
doing okay for yourself. You know, Scrooge McDuck and everything.
Oh,
you know?
Yes.
He's getting that Scrooge McDuck money. Life is like a hurricane
Here in
Duck. Yeah, I know y'all know the song.
Good.
Let's go.
No, it's lovely being on DuckTales because when I did Doctor Who, I thought I will never do a show that has a theme tune that good again. And then I ended up in DuckTales. And I think I'd be hard to choose between the two of those theme tunes. They're both sort of pretty near the top of their game, I think. Can you name a better theme tune than either of those two? Anyone? Which one? Can't hear you. No, my point is proven. Thank you.
Yeah. Sounds. We heard you. No, but what's it like working on? I mean, voiceover shows, working on a cartoon show. I'm sure that's just fun. Sweatpants. You just show up in sweatpants and just.
You do get very sweaty because you're in a small room, and I've done a few in LA, but usually I'm in London and they're in LA, so they're all waking up like that. They're at like 7 a.m. and I'm at the end of my day, and you're in a tiny, and you kind of trying to do lots of episodes all at once, and there's a lot of jumping about and a lot of screaming and yelling. I get very sweaty at the end of one of those sessions. I should go in gym gear.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do from now on.
Just do a nice little sleeveless tank or something like that.
Or naked. I could do Scrooge McDuck naked. Because let's face it, he doesn't wear pants, so...
That's right.
He doesn't.
Little blazer? You
Yeah.
know? Is that how you just walk around the house, just with a little top hat and a little blazer?
Maybe.
What you...
Depends on the blazer.
Paul Smith in New York?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, no, one thing I noticed while watching the show, going back to Doctor Who, is that you're a wonderful dancer.
You think?
Yeah. Am I the only one that agrees with this? I mean, I've just seen it throughout your career. Like, you got some moves.
Have you got some tape you're gonna roll?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Have
I seen you in the ballroom. I mean, I think you could move just. You don't have nothing. Like, you can't. Do you nay? Do you two-step?
What, you're looking for me to do something now?
I mean, like.
No, I don't. I'm not wearing the right shoes.
You're not wearing the right shoes.
No.
I mean, I'm just saying. I just thought you. Personally, I thought.
Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that.
I mean, do we have anything? I mean, just did anybody bust a beat or something like that, or just beatboxing? No. that are in line that want to have questions.
Lovely.
And I just, I can ask you more about your career and what's next, but I know we got some great fans that want to ask you some great questions. So just keep your questions short, so make sure everybody gets them. All right, thanks.
Hi. Marcus, your microphone's not turned on, but I can translate for you. This is Marcus. Say hello, Marcus. What do you want to say, Marcus?
So we've heard a lot about actors struggling to get out of the headspace after playing several really deep and important characters. And D.I. Hardy or, Hamlet, any of those can take you to places that, are deep. How do you find, the space in your head after you leave a set on a heavy day to become your jovial self?
Well, how do you know that that's the headspace I move out of? Maybe that's the headspace I live in. I don't see. Well, I don't know. You'd probably have to ask those around me, really. I'm not aware of ever going to a particularly dark place, but it's quite hard to be entirely objective about that, I think. So it's probably not for me to comment. I mean, I feel like you do the job and you go home and you sort of go back to normal, but maybe I don't. I don't know. Come and live in my house for a bit, Marcus, and tell me.
Well, I'm in London come February, so if you want to invite me over.
We'll hook up. Don't worry about it. I'll see you there, Marcus.
Can I come too?
Sure you can.
Thank you.
You already live in my house. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I live in this house. Follow me on Twitter. This is great.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My question is, the episode where you have to leave Rose on the beach, the first one at least.
Yeah.
What, in real life, what were your feelings about that? What did you think when you first read the script of it?
Oh, when I first read the script, I just thought it was brilliant because I thought that's how to tell a story and that's how to round off an emotional journey. And one of the great joys of doing Doctor Who was when the new scripts arrived, because Russell T Davies is sort of as good as it gets when it comes to. So to be the first person, when you'd come back to your dressing room and there'd be a brown envelope, and you knew that was the next script, it was always so thrilling, and particularly when it was those particularly emotional episodes, and that was very much one of them. Reading that for the first time, the end of Rose's story, it was fantastic. And then your thought is just, I've got to do this justice. I've got to tell that story and not break it, because Russell's crafted this beautiful thing. And you want to just deliver that, really. So that's all you ever hope to do. When the writing's that good, you just don't want to mess it up. Hi.
Love your dress.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm Delaney, and so you knew Jodie before she got introduced to Doctor Who.
Yes.
Did you know she was going to be on Doctor Who before she did?
No. It was very top secret, and they were because I know Chris Chibnall as well, who now runs Doctor Who and who also was the showrunner on Broadchurch. So, yes. But I did not know. No, I knew. No. I'm not going to even say that. I knew it was going to be Jodie about 2 days before the rest of the world did. So I felt very smug that I had that little secret for a little bit longer. But they kept that secret incredibly well. In a world of leaks, they did extremely well to keep that under wraps. But it was very, very exciting when I found out. I'm very excited to see it.
Is that how they did it with you, as far as
Oh, it was a disaster when I did it. Nobody could keep a secret. They sort of learned. It was a total mess when I got. The newspapers were calling me up, going, "So we know it's you." I'm going, "No, it's not me. What?"
Emails.
They did much better in recent years keeping secrets than they did when I took over.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Hillary. Forgive me, I'm going to look at my phone because I'm going to get tongue-tied.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Are you playing Tetris? What are you doing? Candy Crush?
Not exactly.
Are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram. Fiery Hillary.
But right
follow
now
me.
you're on Instagram?
No, not in this moment.
You're taking pictures of this, sending it on Instagram right now?
I wish. No.
You can live is that right?
Yeah.
I don't really know about these things. You can live Instagram. I'm saying that like it's a thing. You all know that. I don't know how these things work.
Okay.
Periscope. There's another one. MySpace.
You're just going to be shouting apps for LinkedIn.
YouTube. See?
Yeah.
I can do this stuff. I have a phone. Sorry. Do go on.
I work with survivors of domestic violence, which can be emotionally difficult
Sure.
sometimes. FanX has become part of my regular long-term self-care plan, and being here with you helps me do my work. So I'm wondering, what do you do for self-care that recharges you when you're feeling burned out?
That is an excellent question. Thank you. What do? I suppose I just go home and I think children are pretty good at that. They're quite good at leveling you down. They're quite good at showing you what's important. They're quite good at reminding you of sort of the essence of humanity, I think. So I hang out with my wife. I hang out with my friends. I hang out with... in fact, my wife and our friend Chris are in London right now eating burgers. I'm very jealous. I was on the phone to them just before here and I'm thinking, that would be lovely. Not that I don't want to be with you guys.
We have fry sauce.
Yeah, yes. That's why I should have told them about the fry sauce. Let's just keep that between us. Don't share that kind of red hot secret with them. Don't Twitter about the fry sauce. I don't have anything. I suppose it's just being normal. It's being at home. It's being sort of doing the everyday and enjoying that and reveling in that and cherishing that, because that ultimately is what it's all about, I think. Thank you.
That was a great question.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Matisse, and
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you, so in the episode Silence in the Library, where you first meet River,
Yes.
did you know that entire story was going to happen while you were doing that episode? Or was it just kind of like an impulse, they threw her in there, or was it all really planned out like that?
You'd have to get Stephen Moffat and strap him to a chair and ask him how far ahead he was thinking. I have absolutely no idea. I just knew, from my point of view, it was quite useful because I was meeting this character supposedly for the first time. The backstory was all hers because time is relative. Don't know if we've covered that. So I couldn't tell you how much Stephen Moffat had in his back pocket about how that might play out. Did he know he was taking over the show by then? I can't remember. I don't think he did he? Did he? Okay. If you're sure. But I think even if he had, whatever he knew, he would probably doesn't even remember himself now, I would imagine. It's always interesting. It's interesting talking to him and indeed to Russell about when they plant bits of story and then years later they come back to it and you can go, that was clever. Like the doctor's hand in the jar, like when that got cut off in my first episode and that comes back years later. I remember going, were you thinking ahead with all that, all those years ahead? And of course you don't know if they're going, oh yes, I knew all along, yes. Or whether they kind of, retro-engineer it. I'm never sure. So who knows what was in Stephen's head when he came up with that character? But whatever it was, he spun it so brilliantly, and it's a story that is not even necessarily over. I can't wait for Jodie and Alex to meet. That'll be fun. So I didn't, and that was quite useful for me. And I couldn't honestly tell you what else was known, to be honest with you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Heather. And
Hi, Heather.
I was wondering, of the many roles that you've played, what was your favorite?
What? I'm too fickle. I sort of would always just say the one I'm doing at the moment. And I'm not really doing one at the moment at all, so I can't. The last thing I did was more Scrooge McDuck, so we just did I'm not allowed to, should I say that?
Yeah. Go for it.
Well, you're going to say yes. What would Disney say? We just did a Christmas special. It's really good.
Oh.
That's probably me fired now. Scrooge McDuck will henceforth be played by Peter Capaldi. No, I'm quite fickle, so I've been very fortunate to play lots of different things and a variety of different things, and that's how I would always really have it. So it feels wrong to choose favourites.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, I'm Abby.
Hello.
I've been wanting to ask you this ever since the traumatic finales to season 2 and 4.
Right.
Could you please say, Rose Tyler, I love you?
Why would I say that, though? What you imagine that's what the Doctor was going to say? You imagine when the other one whispered in her ear, you think that's what he said? He didn't.
What did he say?
He said, let's have pizza tonight. That's what he said. That's what he said. I was there. I think if the line was never said, it would be wrong for me to finish it now, don't you think?
No.
I'm glad you agree. Thanks, everyone. I can't do it. I'm not in the gear. I'd have to put my costume on. Sorry, is that me torturing you? Oh yeah.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. My name's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
So, the question I have for you is, of all of the different aliens that you played against in Doctor Who is your favorite to work with?
John Sim.
John Sim.
No, I don't know. Well, I mean, he wasn't. It was. I suppose what was great was when you could get to really play a scene with someone, and someone like a character like that, like the Master had such a. There's so much history there between those two characters, and also sometimes, of course, you're not always playing a scene with someone who's necessarily in the room. Sometimes you're playing a scene with a piece of green fabric. And they're being added in later. So there's always something very exciting about actually playing a scene live there and then. But then Davros was quite good for that. Julian Bleach as Davros, that was quite exciting. And even the Daleks were always quite good because the Daleks were there. The Daleks they moved around. They were actually in front of you. And Nicholas Briggs is sitting in a corner with this funny sports commentator microphone thing that he barks into, and he's got his little, and the lights are wired up, so they're flashing. So the Daleks are happening kind of live and in front. So that was always. So I suppose the ones that were exciting were where you could play like a big confrontation scene and you could play it for real. That was always particularly appealing, I suppose. But then it's also great. Like the end of the Satan Pit. There's this extraordinarily long scene where the monster didn't even say anything, and the monster wasn't there. We were in a cave just outside Wales, in the middle of nowhere, with a big bit of green fabric, and a sort of page and a half where it's just me talking to myself. But if the writing's good, then a scene like that is exciting to play. So it just comes down to the writing, and thankfully on Doctor Who the writing was always good. So it was a very fortunate place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hello. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. Whenever you're ready.
Mundo. All right. Now, as for Broadchurch, you and the cast have just performed so well. You're giving such depth and conflict within this town. I mean, a whodunit story. I enjoyed it. Finished the 3rd season last week.
Great.
Yeah. So, with those 3 seasons, has there been a highlight or conflict or challenge that has been experienced when working on within those 3 years?
Broadchurch is one of those sort of. I think again this comes down to writing. I think because all the characters, all the sort of main cast, all had such interesting stories, and they were such well-drawn characters, that it was a fantastic show to be part of. And I think it feels like we're part of a group who will sort of always be connected by that sort of time. And I feel like those are all people who are still very much kind of in my life, even if I'm not seeing them every week or anything. But Olivia and Jodie and Andy and Arthur and the whole gang, it feels like we sort of shared something very special being involved in that series. And I think that's the thing I take away from it, that we feel, it feels like a sort of family that persists. I think that's my overriding memory of that. Just something very, I feel very fortunate to have been part of. Thank you. Hi, talking of Jodie, here she is.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
Hi.
My question is, have you ever had an idea for a Doctor Who episode or Doctor Who monster or another story?
Not really, because that was the thing. People would often kind of go, "Oh, do you discuss with Russell what's going to happen in the next?" And you think, "Why would I do that?" Because you think if you've got these the greatest writers in television writing these scripts, why would I ever try and suggest anything to them? Because my ideas are never going to be as good as theirs. So why limit them? I'll just be quiet. I'll just be very grateful to get the scripts and to tell these stories, because I think it's good to know your place sometimes. And I think, I wouldn't ever deign to try and tell writers like that what they're doing. And I think it's, my ideas would never equal theirs, so I just keep quiet. Thank you.
Hi, David.
Hi, Thor.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Got my sonic hammer.
Yeah, lovely.
I'm actually a dentist, and so I always introduce myself.
Do you use the hammer in your work?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But I always introduce myself, so I say, "Hi, I'm the doctor."
Nice.
That being said, I'm also known as the favorite dentist in the group, so I'm the favorite doctor. How do you enjoy being the favorite doctor?
Oh.
They love you, man. They love you.
Well, it depends who you talk to. I am also a real doctor. Thank you. I'm a doctor of drama.
Yeah.
For what that's worth. Don't know that I'm the favourite doctor of drama, but listen, not for me to comment on something like that. It's very kind of you. I take the implication of what you're saying, but I think everyone has their own favourite doctors, and I think every doctor has fans, and I think that's part of the joy of this show. And I think with the dawning of the next series, there'll be a new doctor that will become many people's favourites almost immediately. And I think that's always been the joy of it, that every generation has their own doctor, and it's a show that you can share across the generations, and we can all enjoy, and we can all. Well, I'm just delighted that each generation currently has a doctor to grow up with, because I feel very sad for the sort of few years when that didn't happen, because I think everyone deserves a doctor. That's what I think.
Do y'all still like hang out and go get coffee or something like that, or go to IHOP or something?
We have a special club, yeah.
Special club
that we go to and hang out, yeah.
Is it IHOP, right?
We don't have them in Britain.
Oh.
No.
It's international.
So we fly over here to hang out in the IHOP, yeah. Once every 2 months for 3 days. We change, we move from we do a different state each time.
Oh, wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll come with.
Nebraska's next.
So, as a lifelong Whovian, as a previous doctor, and the husband of the doctor's daughter.
Yes.
And,
oh, that's me. Yeah. I thought you were still talking about yourself. I thought you're married to the doctor. Which one? Awkward. Yeah.
No. And as having worked with Jodie, what are you most excited about with her being the 13th Doctor?
Oh, just to see what Jodie does with it, because I think Jodie's such a great actor. And I think it's just always exciting when that show reboots itself. It gives it a new, and every time there's a new Doctor, it's exciting to see what it's going to feel like and what it's going to, how the stories are going to unfold. And I'm just excited to see what happens next. I think, I know that Jodie's had a great time doing it. I know that she's hugely enthused by the prospect of it, and she's desperate for the world to see it, and me too. It's the Doctor and Rose. Hi.
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 Who is your favorite Shakespeare character that you have played or would like to play?
Oh. Wow. Depends what mood I'm in. But I think as Shakespeare characters go, I think it's hard to get something that is as kind of exhaustively brilliant as Hamlet. I think there's something about that character that just is endlessly fascinating. So I probably would still come back to that. But then there's, there's lots of great characters, and I don't know. There's some I've only experienced very peripherally, so who knows? There's loads I'd like to play, loads. But Hamlet. I think it's got to be Hamlet. It's a sort of almost predictable answer, but I sort of think it's the right one. Woo!
Hello.
Hi.
If you could write a scene for any character that you've ever played, who would you write it for, or what would it be?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Who would you write? Do you tell me the answer to that question? Hard, isn't it? Yeah.
That's why she asked you. She needs help.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I think it's so about the writing. The characters only really come alive in the hands of writers. And characters are amazing and exciting and engrossing because of the way they're written, which means I wouldn't want to write any of those characters. I'd have to come up with my own one. And I suspect there are better writers around than me. So I probably would not do that. I'd probably just kind of go, do you know what? Those characters exist and they have their lives, and maybe the correct writers will one day weave them back into another story. But for now, I think those characters exist in the stories that have been told. I don't want to kind of unpick that. Especially characters that I have loved or feel connected to. I feel like I want their journeys to exist as they always have done. That's probably what I'd say. Which is a bit of a cop-out answer, but it's all you're getting. Thank you. Hi, Donna.
Hi. So you have done so many extraordinary projects in just about every possible field of work. What are you, like from Hamlet to DuckTales, what are you the most proud of?
Oh. That's a really hard question to answer because there are different reasons why individual things mean different things at different points in your life, I think, as well. You almost don't want to reduce things by kind of picking favorites or picking moments because also things have ripple effects, and you can do something when you're young that means something to you later in life. Sometimes you're kind of making an imaginative leap to something that you might do differently if it was something you'd experienced. So I don't know. I'm sort of very proud to have done a lot of things. Certainly Doctor Who's one of them because it means so much to so many people, and it meant so much to me. I'm very proud not to have broken it. That's probably how I feel about Doctor Who. Because that's always the danger with taking on something that's so beloved. It's a wonderful honor, but you also feel the pressure of not messing it up, and to be the caretaker of something that means a lot to you. You want to be able to hand it on so that it can continue to mean a lot to lots of other people. That's a little bit how I feel about Good Omens at the moment, because it seems to, people seem to love that book so much, and I think we've done a good job of it, although I haven't seen anything finished yet. But you kind of think, oh, there's a pressure there now. And something like Hamlet is the same, something that's so beloved and that people have so many opinions on, and are so invested in as a character, and they've seen 500 versions of it, and they liked Derek Jacobi or Ian McKellen or Mel Gibson or whoever it might be, and you kind of think, it's thrilling to be to get a shot at this. It's thrilling to stand in that line of people who've all had a go. It becomes like a sort of Olympic event for actors, and it's thrilling to be part of that. But you also then, then the kind of truck of anticipation backs up, and you suddenly go, oh, this is a little bit more scary than I thought. So that's a circuitous way of copying out and not really giving you an answer, other than saying, I've done that a lot, right? Managing not to answer any of your questions. Very proud of that. So yeah, I'd hate to say one thing because I think it would be too simplistic an answer. Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
Hi, David.
Hi.
There we go.
I'm the doctor.
Yes, I can tell.
My question was, you've played such heroic characters in Doctor Who, and then so devious with Killgrave and in Good Samaritan.
Or even Bad Samaritan.
Huh?
Or even Bad Samaritan.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's quite all right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process of getting into character? Because that's such a different range. Like, is it different for you to do heroic versus villainous, or is it kind of a similar process for you?
Well, the process is sort of the same. You start with a script and you just try and be as honest to it as you can, and you try and make, you try and be as truthful to your interpretation of what that person or creature or alien or duck might be. So it's just trying to be honest. It's trying to be truthful. Whatever version of truth that particular the world of that character requires, you just have to try and find the tone of that and be honest to it, and that's it really. That's it. This process is the same. The end result hopefully is different.
I apologize, we got time for about one more question, so yeah,
Okay.
this is pretty much it.
Make it count, Doctor.
Oh boy, pressure's on.
Sure.
I have to say it must be a good omen that you've worked with Jodie on Broadchurch.
Oh, very
that
good.
She's the next Doctor.
Very good. I see what you did there.
Aha. My question is about Broadchurch.
Okay.
It's a dark but beautiful show. It's got, just such a dark feeling though. What do you guys do behind the scenes to kind of keep the mood up?
It's quite a hysterical bunch of people.
I think Olivia seems hilarious.
Olivia's very funny. Jodie's very funny. Andrew Buchan's very funny. I mean, everyone on that show has a fairly highly charged sense of humor. So it's quite, but that's often the case. I think the heavier the material, the more hysterical it is behind the scenes. And I'm sure if you look at that from a sort of therapist point of view, that's because you're trying to, there's a sort of pressure cooker thing going on. But that's certainly the case with Broadchurch. That we laughed a lot, often inappropriately, and I think that's how maybe part of how you kind of process some of the because there are scenes where some truly awful things have happened to people, and as we were saying before, you have to tell that as truthfully as you can, and sometimes that means people going to some quite raw places. So, funnily enough, a lot of the time it does mean that there's a lot of laughing and carrying on elsewhere, and I think that's probably that's probably fair to say that Broadchurch was quite rife with that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
For the question. Real quick before we conclude, just any advice that you would give to any. I'm sure there are tons of aspiring actors out here in the audience, or anybody that wants to pursue the arts. What advice would you give that person?
No idea. Genuinely no idea. It's a total crapshoot, and there's no logic to it. And there's lots of amazing actors who never show up anywhere, and there's lots of people who are doing very well who really shouldn't. So, in all sorts of walks of life. No, we're not talking about politics. Sorry. So we got it in there. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I wish I knew, because people ask that all the time, and I wish I had answers. I think if you're an actor, turn up on time, learn your lines, and be nice. That's the only 3 bits of advice I have ever known to follow or to pass on. But I think, apart from the learning your lines, I think that probably works for most professions. Although I'm sure there's a learning your lines equivalent in other walks of life. So I would just say that really, just, you know, it's one of those things, if you want to be an actor, there's too many people who want to be actors, so it's tough. But if you can do something else, you probably should, just because it makes sense. But if you can't do anything else, learn lines, be nice, and turn up on time. That's what I'd say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have. We are clearly out of time, but everybody stand up right now and give it up for David Tennant.